Thank you, Pat, and thank you, everybody. When I got the call from the Lacer guys a couple of months ago, they said, can you come along and join the panel at our seminar? I said, yeah, no problem, that's fine. And then a couple of weeks ago, I got a note to say, have you got your slides for your presentation? I was like, oh, slides? Presentation? But it's only 8 minutes, so I have got a few slides, but I'm going to race through them. I certainly don't want to be pulled off by Pat.
No.
Cheap gag, I'm sorry. So who are FWD? What do we do in terms of, what have we done in terms of universal infant free school meals? What some of the things our members have done on tackling school hunger, and some of the next steps that we're going to be taking. So who are FWD? Well, these are our members, you can see there. Just going back one.
Am I in the way?
No. Anyway, so the slides that I was asked to do haven't actually worked, so that's absolutely brilliant. So I'll plough on anyway, make me even quicker. So our members are people like Bidvest and Brakes, food service operators, and we're the member organisation for wholesalers operating in the grocery food service market, retail market, serving retailers, caterers, and schools. These are some of the numbers about the sector. We've got revenues of 30 billion. We employ 66,000 people directly. 2.8 billion added value each year, supplying 330,000 food service operators, 72,000 retailers, activity across the UK. And our members are, you can see there, everywhere across the country. We've got 800 depots and DCs. We've got a number of delivery vehicles in every product sector, in and out of home, 200,000 deliveries every week. But we're really committed to the communities that we serve, and we work with schools, hospitals, other businesses to promote healthier eating and healthier lifestyles. And we really strongly supported the Free School Meals Initiative because it's absolutely the right thing to do, and because of the health benefits, healthier children, happier children, and of course there was a benefit for our members as well. Infant free school meals have been historically very difficult for our members to serve, and the universal free school meal provision made it much more profitable and much more attractive for our members to go into schools. And usage went up 20% post-introduction. So that's children who are over the age of 7 who were then taking on school meals in addition to the universal infant free school meal provision. So it had a knock-on effect, which was beneficial not just to our members, but also to children within the primary schools as well. Members made significant investment in their fleet to support the local authority and school contracts that came about as a part of universal infant free school meals, and it created 250 extra new jobs. 6.6 million items were delivered as a result of the introduction of the scheme. What you should see there is a slide which gives you a nice infographic about the impact that it's had on our members. As if by magic. There we go, fantastic. I'll just go back one actually, see if we can get this to work. There we go, brilliant, fantastic news. And you can see there, or you probably can't see actually, 69% of parents surveyed said that the introduction of free school lunches was a positive development. 23% of parents said that their children have seen a wide variety of foods since the launch. And 1 in 8 families now buy food with a slightly lower proportion, purchasing fewer snacks. The kids are eating less at home because they've had a better school meal at lunchtime. So it's absolutely fantastic. But in terms of the sort of wider impacts on our members, you can see there 14% increase in the types of products delivered to schools, 17% increase in sales after the introduction of universal infant free school meals, and 40% increase in the number of British products sold. So that's been a real positive impact in terms of not just on schools and on health, but also on the members that we represent. So we are essentially a lobby group, and we were very concerned when we heard that the government were looking to remove the scheme. For some of the reasons I've outlined, you know, it's absolutely the right thing to do. There's a real benefit in having it. And so we urged the government to retain it. We made representations to the Department for Education and the Treasury. We also had a meeting with George Eustice, who you can see there, and urged him to continue the scheme because we believe it's absolutely the right thing to do. We worked, as Pat says, very closely with the APPG. We did some substantial lobbying with MPs, and as you all know, we had success in the comprehensive spending review. So that was absolutely fantastic. But I certainly don't think there's any room for complacency. we want to continue talking about the benefits of the scheme and talking about how it helps our members, helps families, and helps children. Holiday hunger, this is something again that we're working very closely on, talking about the availability of healthy and nutritious meals in holidays, working with our suppliers to provide that food for free, working with local authorities to open up schools, to allow them to serve children, and lobbying for change to allow that to happen. And we're meeting with the APPG on holiday hunger. There's a meeting coming up next week, and we will be talking to Sharon Hodgson after that meeting about some of the work that we're doing on holiday hunger and how we want legislative change to support that. Some of our members do their own things. You can see here Breaks do the Meals and More initiative, which holiday lunch clubs, advice for nutrition on families beyond the school gate, supplying food free into schools for those pupils who are on the pupil premium. A really good initiative and work that's happening beyond the legislative agenda. It's just happening anyway because they believe it's the right thing to do. You can see there, Bidvest, very strong supporters of universal infant free school meals. They've done the School Food Made Easy plan, which I know Pat's been working on, and again, measures to tackle holiday hunger. One of the things that we've done beyond all of this is some research with school caterers, and we were asking them about the challenges they face and what their needs were and their support. And I'm going to shut up in a minute, but I just want to tell you a little bit about some of the things that they said. So we surveyed 100 schools. You can see there the percentage breakdown. That was in a qualitative survey, and then we went out to 400 different types of school outlets, all state schools, academy schools. You can see there 34% were contract caterers within a school. 23 were independent in-house caterers run by the school, and 43 were local education authority school catering. And we asked them what were the challenges they face, what support do they get from their wholesalers, their suppliers, and what do they want in terms of support, information, guidance to help with the challenges. And you can see a list there of some of the things that they talked about. And I just wanted to talk to you a couple of them in detail. I can see the yellow cards coming, so this will be my final sentence. On allergens, the caterers tell us that substitutions are a hassle because they've done the reports in advance and they all have to change if they get some different food. So that's a challenge for our members to take back to their businesses. Things like staffing. They said getting the right people is critical in terms of the right personality, not just the skill set, but having people who fit into the kitchen and can work with other colleagues. Equipment, there's obviously financial challenges in terms of replacing that equipment. And then delivery times. They said they're governed by service times, and it's a very obvious thing to get right, but suppliers don't always get it right, and they can't employ extra staff to hang around waiting for a delivery to arrive. They also want support from legislation, keeping up to date with what's happening. They get information and advice from their suppliers, which is fantastic, but what they really want is more practical help. So a central point for advice on food and ingredients, as well as regulatory issues. Courses within schools to share best practice, so schools coming together with perhaps neighbouring authorities or schools in the same local authority to say this is what we do, and perhaps you can learn from this. But also a better understanding of their needs by suppliers. And that's the work that we've done here, which I've given you a very top line, very swift snapshot of. But if you do want to receive this research, do let me know, because we can let you have that and you can see some of the things that your colleagues are talking about. So looking to the future, we'll be lobbying to continue commitment to universal infant free school meals. We want that to be extended beyond infants if possible. Talking to the government, talking to the APPG. We're playing our part by offering free provision, but we need the government to do more. We need them to step up to the plate. And a joint industry approach like we're seeing today via LASA, via ourselves, via other people in the room. The power in numbers was really powerful when it came to the infant free school meals scheme. We've got to keep that going and talk about how we can go forward. So there's my details. If you do need any more information on any of the things that I've very quickly rambled through, please do let me know. And thanks very much for listening.